Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to share my thoughts on my favorite mechanisms in Aquatica, which I played at game night very recently. I've been wanting to play this for a while, ever since I learned that Aquatica uses Concordia's mechanism of hand management. So I'll say really quickly what that mechanism is, and then I'll go into other mechanisms. In Concordia, or in Aquatica, I'll focus on Aquatica, you have a hand of cards, the same hand of cards as all other players, and on your turn, you are playing one of those cards. And it's kind of out of your hand until after you play it. And then at a certain point, there's a card that you can play that says return all played cards to your hand. That's the Concordia mechanism of kind of hand management. It's not deck building, even though you're adding cards to your hand over the course of the game, but it's just a really nice streamlined mechanism. All the actions that you can take in the game are right there on your hand, so you can read through all the things you can do, and you just do them in any order you want. And there's an interesting decision point as to when you bring those cards back into your hand. I don't have a photo of those cards here on the table, because as much as I love that, I want to focus on a few other things here. One additional layer that Aquatica adds to that decision are the Manta Tokens. I don't think I do have some up here. These Manta Tokens are up here. But you have these Manta Tokens that basically you can flip them over at any time on your turn to add a resource. Usually it's a military or an extra coin. You're just adding an extra resource for you to spend that turn. And the mantas, so they flip over, so you can't use them after you flip them, unless or until you refresh, until you bring your cards back to hand. At that moment, the mantas also refresh. So that feels really, really good to have these like extra resources that you can spend at any time to boost what you're doing that turn. And the game even lets you have opportunities to gain new mantas. So you can gain extra mantas. And it has this really nice sense of engine building that you're having. Because you're getting the new mantas, you can have extra resources, and because they refresh every time you refresh, it just feels really good. I really like that. Another thing that I really like is this dual layered mat that every player has. You have these cards that you gain, these location cards that slide into the mat. And there's a whole mechanism around how the sliding mechanism works, but I guess the core of it is that you're sliding, whenever you want to gain this bonus right here, this benefit, you need to just slide your card up a little bit more and cover that bonus. So every time you gain a location, you have this series of bonuses that you can gain. And sometimes they're blank spaces and you have to kind of puzzle around those blank spaces. But I love that you have all these, whenever you gain a location, you have these things that you can gain in a very specific order, and you're sliding the card using that location more and more until it slid all the way up into the mat. And that's when you can take another action to actually score that location. So you kind of really learned how that location works. You know all about it. Now it's time to score that location and pull that location out and put it up here. Everything about that mechanism is really cool. It feels good. You get all this stuff, and you have this sense of progression as you're moving towards getting the points out of locations. All that is really, really cool. In addition to how you actually get the locations. Again, I won't go too deep into that, but one just like little clever aspect that I really like that adds to player interaction in this game is that when someone claims a location, it doesn't automatically refill. Unlike the character row, these character cards, they automatically refill. And so whenever someone takes that card, that is a card that's gone, that player has it, and you have less cards to choose from right off the bat. So I really, really like that. There's a different action in the game. There's a scout action that moves these cards up and refreshes this row, but I like that it isn't automatic. So there's always this tension, like at any given time, a player could take these cards and immediately not only take that card, but limit your choices moving forward until you take a scout turn and help all players by revealing new locations. Yeah, I really like that. I had a note to myself about card waves, but I don't remember what I was talking about there. I think I was talking about this thing down here. But yeah, really, really cool game, Aquatica. I'd love to hear your thoughts if any of these mechanisms remind you of another game, or if you have a different favorite mechanism in Aquatica itself. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks.